Okay. Mm. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, I can see people popping in across. So you can, uh, by the way, you can pop in your questions. You can pop in comment. We want this to actually be engaging. We are very excited to actually kickstart the Precision Agriculture Incubation Program. Today, 15th of February, 2024. Amazing. We've actually been looking forward to this for a long time, and today is the D-Day. It started already. So invite your friends, share the link with them. We have with us today a distinguished and prominent researcher, thought leader, and leader in the agricultural industry in Africa. Uh, Passionate to actually take us on a keynote address. And also today you are going to be learning more about the program, the structure, what we in. I mean, all of the stuff that you would have access to, by joining this program. Amazing. Yes. Okay. We will just wait for about 2 more minutes to have more audience joining. All right. Thank you very much for the wait, and we would just proceed right now. I can see the number is increasing also. Uh, so without further ado, you're welcome to the Precision Agriculture Incubation Launch Program. Um, so I will just be where you would actually get in detail about this program, what you should be, what you should actually be anticipating, what is the aim of this program. And we will also be introducing to you Precision Feed Academy, what we stand for, what we are doing, particularly in the space, what is actually our ambition, in actually spearheading programs like this, uh, you know, to actually bring precision agriculture into action uh, in Africa and also across the globe. So I am actually delighted to actually welcome you all once again. Now, Precision Agriculture Incubation Program is actually a brainchild. By the way, my name is Femi Adekoya, and I'm popularly known as the Flying Farmer. I'm the vision lead for Precision Feed Academy, uh, where we are passionately raising the next generation of tech-inclined and digitally savvy farmers who would put precision agriculture into action. And when we say precision agriculture, we are actually also talking about sustainable agriculture. We're talking about sustainable farming. We are talking about a system or a concept of farming where we promote resource use efficiency. We promote environmental protection. We promote balance, in the farming system. But with us today, we have Dr. Wale Fatunbi, and I am actually looking forward to his presentation. He's actually our keynote speaker. I'm trying to delay so that we can have more people because I don't want anyone to actually miss his presentation. Is a man that I respect so much. His thoughts, his actions are actually inspiring. And so, for the Precision Agriculture Incubation Program, it is actually an hybrid program. So we have a lot of virtual sections like this where we are going to be having thought leaders, practitioners, and professionals in the precision agriculture field, digital, exposing you to digital technology, what they are doing, how you can actually build your career, how you can actually grow your skill and competence to actually lead in the future of work when it comes to digital agriculture and technologies. So our aim is to actually um, provide capacity building. Okay, this is a 2 month long program, by the way. So our aim is to provide you with capacity building and also close the knowledge gap. We have a lot of agricultural graduates here who are going to be leading the future of work in the agricultural field, but we need to actually equip ourselves. We need to actually be ready because, and also closing the gap because there's an existing gap in our education system or perhaps in our information system where we can be able to close the gap in this as emerging agricultural digital agricultural technologies. You already know them, or perhaps you would get to know them in the course of this program. So we have different courses spanning various agriculture 4.0. And when we talk about agriculture 4.0, we are talking about the fourth agricultural revolution. There's more to that. We've actually been dealing with this in the past year about agriculture 4.0, but some of which includes drone technology, which we call UAV, unmanned aerial vehicles. In agriculture, we are going to be exposing you to mobile application development, that software, how can we actually use our mobile phones, our smartphones in agriculture to bring precision agriculture into action. We are also going to be talking about and simplifying GIS for agriculture, remote sensing, and various other technologies. So we are not only going to be focusing on the technical side of things, the technology, the tech. We are also going to be talking about your personal branding as a person who is a professional. Okay, branding yourself as a professional for career growth and acceleration. And we're also going to be talking, exposing you to enterprise development. So we have thought leaders, we have facilitators, lecturers across the world, prominent, highly sought after lecturers and facilitators to take you on. So get ready and be prepared. Uh, I mean, of the virtual sections, if you are joining whatever, like we noted, we have various registration across continents. So you are actually in for a due time. And those who also have opportunity and are selected for the on-site training, you also have opportunity to, to learn drone technology, how to apply drone as a tool. We're not only focused on drone technology, okay, but as a tool to deliver precision agriculture in terms of data collection, understanding data and the quality of data, how to collect this data, and how to actually process this data, to manage heterogeneity in the field to achieve your objective and goals as a farmer or an agronomist or a farm manager or perhaps as a consultant. You can be able to have technology tools in your toolbox, that can actually help you deliver with efficiency and great effectiveness. So these are the things that we will be exposing you to. And we actually want to say a big thank you to our sponsors. Our sponsors, Integrated Area Precision, of course, have been the backbone of this. We also want to thank the International Society for Precision Agriculture, ISPA, who have sponsored us, backed us up. Me, myself, as a country representative in Nigeria, they've actually given us the full support on this program. And also, in this program, you would also have opportunity to join the African Association of Precision Agriculture. So for free, okay, this would also boost your professional growth to actually connect, to actually be part of professionals, the league of professionals, changing the narrative in the African landscape. So if you're an African, it is totally free. Be it student, be it professional, you can actually join. So we are bringing this to you in the course of this program. So stay tuned. We also want to thank Dev Global. We also want to thank Dev Afrique and also Solid Farm Lab and many of our partners and facilitators who are actually going to be contributing in this program. So welcome once again. And but before then, like I said, before we actually introduce Dr. Wole Fatumbi, I would be inviting, inviting Joseph to actually take us uh, to Precision Feed Academy, what we stand for, who are we. Precision Feed Academy, by the way, is actually the main organizer of this program. So, and we would actually be hearing from him in just a few minutes, and then we would be inviting Dr. Wole on stage. So, Joseph, are you ready?
Hello, good morning. I hope I'm
Yeah, we
audible.
can hear you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's nice connecting with you all. Seeing young enthusiasts, young people who are actually committed to delivering precision agriculture in Africa. This is very, very amazing. So I am going to be taking us through the briefing uh, or the story of Precision Field Academy. So let's go. Okay. So about Precision Field Academy, Precision Field Academy is a social enterprise where we train and build the capacity of young professionals in modern and emerging technology for the future of work and to lead with precision agriculture. So here we are saddled with responsibility of raising tech inclined farmers, next generation farmers, uh, and equipping them with the technical skill set in the area of precision agriculture. So, what is our vision? So, our vision is to create a world where every young person, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to become a digitally savvy farmer or agricultural professional, driving sustainable and equitable growth in their communities through the transformative power of technology. And also, the mission is to raise next generation farmers that are tech inclined and digitally savvy, because of the fact that the world is evolving and agriculture has to evolve with it. So we need to change the game. So what is our methodology? So strictly we believe in three core methodologies, which is about education and knowledge sharing. And this is through our trainings, master classes, webinars, equipping young people with digital agriculture training. So, and another core factor is training and skill development, and this is where we provide professional training, hands-on skill set. Hands-on skill experience for young professionals to gain the holistic um, information, to gain the holistic yes, information basically about the concept of precision agriculture and how they can be involved fully by bringing up innovations, and it's through this skill development. One other factor we have under our methodology is coaching and mentorship, and this is about providing uh, strategic leading, one-on-one coaching and mentorship by guiding enthusiasts in the right direction uh, for them to be able to efficiently practice precision and digital agriculture. So also we have certain tech skills, not limited to drone technology. So drone technology is one of the technologies we can use to actually deliver precision agriculture. Uh, and this is used in the aspect of collecting data, processing data, and providing insight around farming, basically, in the aerial way. So one other tech skill is geographical information system, GIS and remote sensing, and this is about collecting data and interpreting GIS data to enhance agriculture as well. So also we have data science in agriculture. This is about the intricate part of data and how you can provide this data and work around the algorithms of data. We also have robotics and Internet of Things. This one like robotics and embedded systems, where you have an access control of your farmland through robotic devices, and this is actually spearheading efficiency into what you're doing as a precision agriculturist. We also have AI and machine learning. We are in the dispensation where artificial intelligence is doing a lot of things, changing the game. We all know about the use of ChatGPT and all. And this takes more about predictive analysis, where you have this intelligence systems mounted on your farmland or around your farm ecosystem, where it can actually give you predictive analysis to take corrective measures for you to mitigate loss and also save resources, optimize resources, and practice efficient and sustainable farming. And lastly, a part of our skills is enterprise development. What actually makes sense the most is to be able to harness all this knowledge, leverage all this knowledge to be able to create a sustainable business enterprise that is focused at solving problems, that is focused at bringing unique solutions to the world. Next slide, please. Okay, so why do we do what we do? Like, what serves as our motivation for doing this thing we do? We discovered there is skill gap to be closed, and young professionals need to build skills, relevant global skills in the technical part and the enterprise skill for the future of work in agriculture. And that's part of the reason why we do that. So, secondly, observing the trend is not enough. So, youth need to become enabler and players of fourth agricultural industrial revolution and not mere observer. That is, you as a youth, you as a young enthusiast, you need to holistically participate in this revolution taking place because agriculture is changing paradigm and we must also be the particle, yes, bringing or contributing to this innovation as well. So, also, thirdly, technology is the key to unlock African agriculture potential. So, we really need to leverage technology to spearhead efficiency, bring precision into what we are doing. I mean, in the context of agriculture, and that's about precision agriculture. So these are the three motivations, basically. So why should you join us? Um, the reason why it's important for you to join us is we are creating a future we want in agriculture. We are designing the future we want in agriculture. And also we connect you to the information, I mean the right information, strategic information, and the world of opportunities. It comes in terms of scholarship, internship, volunteership, on both local and international scale for your career and professional growth. So also we have a sort of skill development through project collaboration, community interaction, and workshop uh, and symposiums. So also we have access to coaching and mentorship from industry leaders and professionals. We have, for instance, in this program, we have globally sought after professionals. These are very professional in their career fields. So we have this kind of program bring opportunity for us to be able to learn from these professionals, what from their expertise. So at Precision Field Academy, we are building a community of young, tech-inclined, and digitally savvy farmer and professionals, and that's the summary of Precision Field Academy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joseph. That was actually succinct. Thank you so much for that presentation. So, once again, I want to actually reiterate at Precision Feed Academy, we are actually building a community of young, tech inclined, and digitally farmers and professionals, who are actually prepared for the future of work and tech in agriculture, who would actually go ahead to become leaders, players, influencers in the world of digital and precision agriculture. So thank you so much for actually joining us today. So without further ado, I would like to uh, welcome Dr. Wale, Dr. Wale, is Oluwole Fatunbi, and I'll just quickly read his bio, as you can see on the screen. Um, and he's going to be talking on Youth Arise, precision agriculture technology in the hands of African youth for transforming the food system. Dr. Wale is an academic or research and development scientist with 15 years of progressive experience in agronomy, farming system, self-fertility, technology transfer, and research management. His professional work encompasses diverse research and development projects with a primary interest in resources and crop management towards sustainable agricultural production and improvement in the livelihood and quality of smallholder farmers. He bagged a doctoral degree in agronomy from the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, and he currently works as the acting director of Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa. That is the prestigious FARA. So Join me, welcome Dr. Wole Fatimbi. Prof, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Femi. Uh, I think you need. Okay, I need to get on. Yeah. Thank you very much, Femi, and many thanks to the first cohort of trainee or first layer of the community of practice within the Precision Field Academy. This is important, and I congratulate you for being the first cohort. It actually shows that you have a big responsibility to ensure that the training you get from this academy deliver the transformation we desire for African agriculture. And I want to thank Femi and his group also for putting this together. Let me say that FARA, the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, is proud of what you're doing. We followed your track, otherwise we will not be here. We followed your tracks and we are excited with this. As we have opportunity, what we're doing is something that is worthy of promotion so that you don't only stay in West Africa, but it can go also onto other parts of the continent. Femi, I want to permit me to make a bit of correction. I'm so sure you pick the profile from some of the social media. It has not been, I did not touch it, what was there in the last 5 to 8 years. So things have changed significantly. The first and the most important is that I am not acting executive director of FARA. I'm acting director of research and innovation in FARA. And you know that to be politically correct with such things is really very important in our powers. Okay,
Yes,
and
it is.
then not 15 years anymore. It's around 25 years now. Contribution
Whoa.
to the
Okay.
sector. Okay,
Yes,
that's why I adjusted it in this one that I'm projecting, and then I can now go straight. I can now go straight into um, my presentation. Like I said, I work for FARA, and the FARA is the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa. It's the apex body that is coordinating agricultural research, and by agreement, FARA is also the technical arm of the African Union Commission for Agricultural Research, Technology Generation, Dissemination, and utilization in Africa. So FARA forms a coalition of actors that ensure that we achieve agricultural research and development. Well, I want to come from a philosophical point of view, and I'll be coming up with a few data, but much more opening our minds to see agriculture as a sector, then moving into the issue of precision agriculture itself and the imperative for precision agriculture to bring forth the type of Africa we want. Um, 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 Nehu said most things can wait except agriculture. He said most things except agriculture can wait. And I tell you, for development of nation, for food and nutritional security, our agriculture cannot wait. But the approach we give to agriculture, especially on the continent, is such that it can wait. We hardly do projective planning and implementation of actions. No, rather we do damage control. We wait for the damage to happen before we control it, and that has been the reason why Africa agriculture is the least developed of all regions in the world. Let me say that there are certain age-long discovery. Okay, there are certain age-long discovery around agriculture. And I want to say that we know that human population that feeds on agriculture grows at exponential rates, but the resources to meet the need of this exponential growth only grows on arithmetic basis. Yeah, for those who are scientifically inclined or numerically inclined, you already understand what I mean. Exponential growth compared to arithmetic growth. And this is because resources is limited. And most of the production assets, they all revolve, most of them also align to the land. Land is static and it's not going to change. And so the amount of land that we have access to is also influenced, the productivity of that is influenced by the existing technologies that we need. And that underscore the need for us to give attention to technology. Of course, we give attention to land, but technology will also help us to use land appropriately. So the point there is that the key production asset we have, which is our land, is never going to increase. Rather, it reduces in productivity, and we need technology. So the only saving grace for Africa, as well as every other continent in the world, is to give a lot of attention to technology. Now, I want to say that sustainable food production can only increase to certain level. I mean, the increase to that, and this is the truth. I mean, we've not said this in any other place than talking to the next generation and then our seniors that are joining us today. You need to look carefully at the carrying capacity of African resources to produce food. And so whether it is we are using the crude method that is popular now, or we use the more sustainable method, our food production can never go beyond our carrying capacity. The only thing that can adjust a little the productivity of the carrying capacity of our asset is these technologies that we put in. And this is really very vital for us to consider. In another forum, we'll be talking about the carrying capacity of Africa agricultural resources. So above this level, above the production using our carrying capacity, there will be negative outcomes. And that's what we begin to see in Africa, the issue of land degradation, fertility degradation, soil degradation occasioned by all manner of erosion and productivity loss. Maybe I should also say this for those who are students of development economics. You understand that labor productivity is least in agriculture. Well, maybe I should not use agriculture in its entirety, but in farming, that's where labor productivity is least. For us to change the dynamics or to adjust it a lot more, then we need to begin to think about technologies and all manner of technologies. Let me say, we conducted this study as at year 2016. I mean, that is a number of years away. But I did a bit of spot check and I discovered that this data has not changed. I mean, I'm trying to talk about agriculture, total factor productivity of agriculture in Africa, and we did comprehensive study in these 8 countries. Now, you will see that the bottom line in this data is that to double the total factor productivity of agriculture, look at it for countries like Burkina Faso. If we have started since 2016, we will need to move up to 2051 before. Then maybe I should talk about countries like Nigeria. We need 18.4 years to double the total factor productivity. A country like Uganda needs 50, Tunisia 50. And Cameroon, 40 years to be able to double. When you juxtapose this data, okay, with the rate of population increase, you begin to see that it is more or less like a gloomy situation, except we change the dynamics. How do we change the dynamic? We bring in a lot more technology. Now, and that takes us to begin to think and talk smartly about the need for application of science. I mean, we've talked about this for about 1 decade, but it is imperative for us to begin to talk about it until we begin to bring change to pass. Wide-scale application of science, technology, and innovation. is a necessary condition for the transformation that we desire. So the need for productivity growth, is there. The need for food and nutrition security, the need to reduce the 40% post-harvest losses of our commodity is there, and the need to do risk mitigation in terms of pests, in terms of emerging diseases, in terms of the vagaries of climate change, okay, flood, poor drainage, and related things. But much more, the need for producers to be able to derive livelihood compliant income from their effort. All of these things, they revolve around the use of technology. Now, technology is moving very fast. And then I'll still mention the type of revolutions that we have seen. I like this particular book I'm projecting, written by late Callistus Juma. May his gentle soul rest in peace. I doubt if you are able to see the other two boxes. I'm just saying that it's not very clear. Possibly where you're viewing from, you are able to see. But innovation and its enemies actually bring forth more than 12 cognate innovations that have transformed our world and the action and the attitude of people to it. It is still the same that as we are seeing it today. In the recent history of agriculture at the global level, we had the advent of green revolution, which changed production in the West, which changed the face of agriculture in the West and in Asia, but Africa lost out of it. You remember the green revolution of Bullock, plant breeding coming, generating hybrid varieties, and all those things, use of fertilizer, use of agrochemical. Africa lost out of it because we are not prepared for it. And it was even a bit bad-mouthed by many of us that so many of the smallholder farmers, they don't want to use fertilizer when the other part of the world were using it and they were changing. Our institutional action also did not support it. Fairly possibly you would have heard farmers or people, consumers saying that, oh, if you apply fertilizer to yam, there is too much water in the yam and it is not sweet compared to the one that is grown without fertilizer. This has been tested to be just falsehood, and because of certain falsehood made out of that green revolution thing. Today, India plugged into this revolution, and India did not only have green revolution, India is having white revolution, the blue revolution. White revolution is around milk production, the blue revolution is around fisheries and aquaculture, and they have about 6 variants of revolution. You can Google that and you're going to see. But Africa moved out of it. Let me say that every innovation that comes up upon the scene, whether in the industrial setting, in the educational setting, they always have their enemies. And the enemies are the naive people who did not want to take it. Before I get into this, let me also talk about that what we are trying to also lose now. After Green Revolution, the world, through scientific innovation, getting into biotechnology revolution. And the enemies of biotechnology revolution is misinformation. Now, most countries in Africa, they are losing out of biotechnology revolution. And that's something we worked on from the year 2000. I remember that the Nigerian version, NABP, Nigeria Agricultural Biotechnology Project, hosted by IIT. And I was working, participated in that through an NGO. Talking about biotechnology awareness in Nigeria. Naive people mounted biotechnology so much, and they declare a lot of things that are not true. Now they are silent because, if you eat GM modified, you will have cancer, and these things are not substantiated with any fact. Well, I work for FARA and I need to be neutral. So I am also very neutral, but I need to bring out facts also. And Africa is losing out of biotechnology revolution. And that is why we are not competitive in terms of yield. You can check the data on yield gap for major variety and major commodities, including livestock. Africa is at the back because of this environment. Now it's a new era, the era of ICT-based revolution. And this is really very vital if we are going to move out. You know, what I like about this era is that the ICT-based revolution does not only look at field production, unlike Green Revolution that only look at production, but does not look at institution, infrastructure, marketing, and related things. Biotechnology revolution also looks at field production. I mean, alone, variety, development, resistance, and all those stuff. But it's not looking at market and other things. But now it is ICT-based revolution. And I want to say that it has started for some time, and we have not also capitalized in it. Now, the current effort is to ensure that we plug into it adequately, and Africa can metamorphosize, can actually enjoy revolution, move into it. Look at it carefully. What we're talking about when we say ICT-based revolution is, it started with the GIS. And if you've been around for a while, you remember the GIS revolution, a geographical information system. And it moved very smartly into the era of remote sensing. Of course, remote sensing is still on, GIS is still on. But it moved into digitalization. And digitalization now begin to we see its expression in almost every phase of the economy. What we do mostly with digitalization is now, you see all these fintechs, exchange of money, exchange of commodity, communication, pricing of commodity, and that is coming up. A lot of apps are developed that enhances the way we do things. Now, around field also, you begin to see the development of robotics. And I want to encourage the young people here to please Google the weeder robots. It's a small device, a robot small, that can do weeding. And this is revolutionizing not only the large scale, but the small scale agriculture in Africa. If you have had opportunity to look at crop budget, crop budget talks about cost allocation to production of commodities. You will see that the cost of labor for weeding is always the highest. Now imagine having an affordable robot weeder, and you can see you can preempt the implication of honing or using such robot on the cost per unit for production of the commodity. Depending on whichever economic model you are using to do your projection, you see that brings more money into the pocket of the producers or reduce the cost of food ultimately. So what I'm trying to bring forward is IT-based revolution. Is something we must embrace and we must push forward. I like to just pitch it here and talk about some innovations that have changed the world. Still talking about innovation. You remember the printing press and the horse plow, the steam engine train. And these are all born 1698. In 1769, vehicle itself. Okay, then the advent of electric bulb between 1879 and 1880. Coming up with the development of steel in 1850, development of telegraph, okay, the advent of computer itself. Then look at other soft area, the discovery of antibiotics, the penicillin, then the upsurge of internet. That is the biggest invention of the current century. So these innovations, they brought big changes, social and economic changes, and the way we live. There are many others that you see that are prominent in Africa. For fintech in Pesa, in Kenya, the MFS in South Africa, the advent of solar energy, and how that is revolutionizing also the way we work in countries like Tunisia. Wind energy is raining. The Volva app in South Africa is one. I mean, and many others. Also I put in there the nanotechnologies. These are innovations. Okay, and when we say something is innovation, it's not a synonym for technology. It is technology that is already introduced, used, and it has demonstrated social and economic benefit. I mean, you are more familiar with this. Instead of taxi before, we now use Uber, and that is the world's largest taxi company. Uber did not own a single vehicle, possibly their own official vehicle they use in their office. But it goes on. Look at what we have today, Facebook. Facebook is moving on. The biggest market in the world now is Alibaba, and is the biggest retailer. Alibaba did not have a warehouse. It only facilitates linkages. And Airbnb is the world's largest accommodation provider. They did not even have a single building that they can call their own. What am I trying to bring forward? ICT-based revolution as it is changing faces of our life. Now, when it comes to agriculture, let me say this. Our refusal to change, okay, is actually a demerit to the progress. It is not, don't even use the word demerit. It's a major limitation to the progress of agriculture. So we get into labor intensive agriculture, and the youths don't want to get into that. The drudgery that is associated with farming is what is chasing the youth away. Then poor productivity, poor quality, and lack of competitiveness. Let me take time to talk about Africa agriculture itself. That now Africa still pride ourselves that we have 70% of the arable land in the world. I mean, that statistics is quite different. Now, a study was conducted recently in one of the projects where I participate, okay, the Soils for African project, and we discovered that the proportion of available arable land in Africa is far less than 50%. But we still have 80% of the fresh water available in Africa. And the youth population is around 60%, just as an estimate. Now, when you have this demography at the back of your mind, you begin to see the need for changes. So youth population, as we call it 60%, is still have the potential to rise if you look at this data. The red line still show sub-Saharan Africa. Now, if we're still going into 2100 here, and the data is going to move on, the projection is going to move on this way. Let's look at African youths at a glance. Just give a glance. As at 2022, during Paris project, when we run certain estimates, our study showed that 63% of the population are youths. And you will see that the big population could be a negative, depending on how we perceive it, and it could be an advantage. But currently, it poses a lot of challenge. Now, and this is the reason. Africa is least prepared for this youth explosion. And but it is not unprecedented. Asia was here. In fact, the population you see in China, you see in India, was also largely youths. Europe has passed through this when you check the development history. But Africa, we are not. And suddenly, we realize that we have high youth population, which could be an advantage. And if we don't handle it very well, it becomes a disadvantage. So the upsurge in technology does not require much human labor. And this is the disadvantage. And so you see that there is no job. I mean, if anybody tells me today that, any youth tells me today that I'm a stenographer, and I better ask you to go and buy Okada, and better do Okada than being a stenographer, because nobody needs that again. Even being a typist is not needed by anyone. I mean, many people also don't need so many secretaries. Maybe you need administrative assistant, but not a typist or a secretary anymore, because those fields are now outdated. Long and short, our population does not need a lot of people. And look at this, my illustration. What you see is there is no job, and so there is a lot of frustration and unproductive life. And many resulted into dangerous migration. Well, if you want to japa, using Nigerian language is fine. If postgraduate, you're going to find things. But many others also retire into many city jobs, the Okada thing, some dangerous type of job. Then others result into crime and terrorism. And all of these things, you see it all over the countries in Africa. It is not limited to a few countries. Yeah, the study also show the disinterest and the hate for youths to find livelihood in agriculture, because it's been known that that is the biggest sector that could take us. And we have promoted youth engagement in agriculture. Now, you see that a few youths that goes into agriculture wants to concentrate on ICT. And so we have overload of apps. ICT apps has been developed. There is overload now. And I tell you, online platform creates fintech, creates marketing platform and all kinds. The effort now, the discovery is that the effort that is required getting people to use the app is 500% of the effort that is required in developing the apps. And so, too many apps that are not functional. Then a few get into processing, and we still need more in that, and a handful get into marketing, value addition and marketing. But where there is acute shortage of personnel is actually on the farm. And youths are saying no to farming. I mean, because of what I have mentioned earlier on, the what do you call it? The hard labor realities of the current farming system. The hard labor reality. And I have seen people that are provided even with resources who get into farming, and 2-3 years after you don't see them on the farm, then you want to find out, why did you leave the farm? And it tells you, I'm not getting income. In fact, I will not be able to pay back the loan because of institutional problem that is affecting the marketing and the profitability of farming as an endeavor. So there is production shortage because of that, food security problems. Now, one of the ways to resolve this is to try and sit down carefully to analyze the problems. They are, and I use problem tree analysis in recent past. I did this a few years ago. Now, the consequences, or let me say the cause, the main cause is unprofitability of the current production system. It is impossible for you to do it as a business case. I mean, I'm talking about smallholder farming and make economic profits. I mean, you can have accountant profit 5%, 10% over investment, but economic profit, comparing time and comparing what do you call it? The other trade-offs, the other trade-offs. If you compare it with it, you cannot make economic profit from all the endeavors, because you will also need to go to a market that is not structured and compete, and everybody goes to the market at the same time. The forces of demand and supply push down the price. Now, those are the costs. Look at it from the root. But the main problem is access to land, poor extension, lack of finance, lack of structured training, lack of infrastructure, lack of technologies, or lack of investment of the policy system into infrastructure. And so youths are disinterested. There is widespread unemployment and upsurge in antisocial behavior. Now, we need to begin to come in strongly to help farmers experience transformation, strong transformation. And I put this there. You cannot say I should come and weed with hand as a youth and I want to take that. I mean, don't forget that I'm still, as a youth in family, I'm still facing the vagaries of weather, climate change. And then, I don't have access to irrigation. I have small holding. No, they are not going to do this. Then some of this type of marketing is grossly outdated. What I put on this other side is what we need to be given attention to. Possibly the use of robotics, the use of drone technology that the Precision Field Academy give a lot of attention to is becoming very important, and we need to do a lot around that. Let me say that in Ghana, there is a company now that provides drone services, and they do a bit of aggregation of the land so that the same thing is done. We worked about 5 or 6 years ago on the citrus commodity when citrus from Ghana was banned from entering European market. Whitefly, the Bernicia tabaki, and others were affected. And we discovered that if you are going to spray, then you need to spray the entire area and all the farms at the same time. Now, and when you do that spray, because one person cannot spray his own farm, the pests, they move from other farms and they reinfect. So you need to spray. And this is where this type of technology comes in. In the West and in Asia, this is gaining ground. But in Africa, the cost of drone and drone services still look a bit high. And if any can advise us because it's directly in the field. But also getting youth to embrace the use of this for drones, for irrigation, for application of pesticides, for application of fertilizer. And let me say that the use of drone is not against agroecology, neither is it against organic agriculture, because the external inputs we use in organic agriculture also will benefit strongly from the drone technology. So this is something that goes a long way. I want to say that the way forward is to create to have this creative disruption. And when I use the word orchestrate it, ensure it cannot happen sporadically. It must be done. That is, we must create a disruption of the status quo so that we ensure that the change picks up. And that's what I'm using this Farah's slide to depict. This is where we are. And we have plateaued here, it cannot go. Maybe I should explain this. That African agriculture in the last 1 decade has experienced certain growth from where it used to be, but now it has plateaued and is almost coming down. Now, to move to this level, there must be a disruption. And to move to the next level, there must be intentional disruption of the status quo. In other words, we must look at the enabling technology that can bring this and institutional order that can bring forth this change. At the continental level, a lot is going on, but many more things can be done. Of course, we have the Malabo Declaration, we have the Agenda 2063 at the continental level, and the agricultural component of Agenda 2063 is really, or the strike word, is really very indicative. The strike word is the Africa we want. Now, the Africa we want is a continent where food insecurity is not an issue. Today, we have over 1.2 billion population. But out of that 1.2 billion, over 300 million are food insecure. I mean, chronic food insecurity. And so we have the largest proportion of people that we need to work on and get them fixed. So, precision agriculture will play a big role. And what I don't want to preempt what Femi will teach in another section, but you know what precision agriculture does. It helps you to precisely carry out your activity. For instance, scanning is done by the drone on your field to do precise identification of where the pests and the disease is. And so when you're spraying, you're not wasting agrochemical. It goes straight to the pump, to the spot. Certain application of fertilizer, especially when you have soil data for the area you're working with, precise and a direct application using robots that does the application of fertilizer. And because the data is loaded also into the robot, it applies appropriate pre-calculated quantity in relative good time. And this is where we need to go and put in all this technology in place. Let me say that the youths aren't going to participate in agriculture if all of these things are not put in place for them to find sustainable livelihood in it. I've participated in certain forum. Someone says, if our agriculture is not sexy, the youths aren't going to follow us to such a place. And so, what we need to do, as I begin to close anyway, is to strongly think about policy and advocacy. And this is something good that this forum and platform is doing, policy and advocacy. Possibly we need to conscientize the society to begin to see what we're talking about. We need to silence the naysayer. Those are the enemies of innovation. We need to find a way to silence them, and the way to silence them is to enlighten them to see, such that policies are put in place and we do adequate advocacy. But I have put the second point here, which is the biggest, and I think it responds to it all. And that is the need for strategic investment, for precision agriculture on the field. And strategic investment will mean tactically bringing in some of this existing knowledge in the West and in Asia into Africa. The same thing we need to do for ICT is what we have recommended for mechanization. Maybe we start learning, we start bringing in the machine, then we start developing our local capacity to do. It means we need to support the private sector investment in bringing in ICT base. And our youth population, they are so savvy in some of these things, and we need to invest into them. I have asked a senior veteran in the government of India, sometimes last week, how did India become the biggest country in ICT? It is strategic investment, and African leaders need to look into this in more detail. The other thing is learning and exchanging, and I am happy that Precision Field Academy is doing that. Identifying the problem, training the youth population, and engaging them. Finally, I will encourage you to still set up a community of practice, and when your graduates are out, so that we can leverage opportunity for them in terms of participation in projects, in terms of joint development of appropriate equipment, in terms of even learning to develop locally produced drones and all these things. I am an optimist like my other leaders, and I believe that it is doable. The fourth thing is the issue of knowledge management at the continental level. And Farah is very savvy and on top of this. We need to begin to bring in also artificial intelligence. It does this. Then effective youth engagement. Effective youth engagement is the fifth and the last thing I want to talk about around this. When I say youth engagement, it is not only to bring youth to meeting to talk, but also breaking things down, empowering the youth, doing an incubation, helping them to set up and aligning them with mentors so that they are effective in the field and they derive encouragement, in doing. I am not despising the need for them to participate in the different discussion. It's their world. They own the next generation. We will do that. We are doing that and will continue to do that. But more than that is getting them to lay their hands on practical action and get it done. So, friend, let me stop there so that we give a lot of opportunity for interaction. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. This is actually part, and we are actually happy to listen to you. How you actually took us from the beginning, from philosophical perspective into a more practical perspective. Uh, you started by giving us the basis of uh, why should we consider, or why precision agriculture, why the new revolution in the context of Africa, where are we, and where we are supposed to be. It's actually amazing to learn that from you. Uh, it's actually amazing to learn that from you. I also want to now say, if you have questions, guys, please drop your questions. Drop your questions. We would like to hear from you and engage with Prof. Is 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 still here to actually answer your questions. Now, Prof, some of the things you actually mentioned, particularly in your presentation, said we actually need this we need to actually disturb the status quo, with in there to transform the African agriculture. Truly, the African agriculture is not where it's supposed to be. We are actually way behind, way behind, and this is what we want people to actually realize, and more particularly the youth. When we actually have a change of mindset with the youth, for us to actually know where the problem is, the problem. Sometimes it feels that we've actually taken some of our problem to be ingrained, like we cannot solve them. We've taken our predicament. I say it this way: we take our predicament, we've turned it into something we can glorify instead of something
Mm,
we should actively solve.
mm,
So, and this is why we are systematically targeting the youth, because this is the future. There's little that I can actually do to convince your generation.
yes.
Sadly,
No,
sadly,
no.
but there is more we can actually do to influence ourselves as youth. And
Mm,
one of the things I am actually always happy about is being a mentor, a role model to several youths who are actually aspiring to become innovators and solution providers to these problems. And this is why we are actually here. You mentioned some of the recommendation, policy, and advocacy in terms of enlightenment, and that's why we are here. Enlightenment to tell people about this innovation, why they can be used, how we can actually engage with them, how we can actually see maximum profits, how we can actually benefit and explore, optimize the benefit cost ratio. Sometimes there are limitations to adopting these technologies or to engaging with them, but we can be able to talk our way through policy and also advocacy engagement. You also mentioned having community of practice, after this program, and this is actually our vision. It's a community. We are trying to build a community. When we are introducing Precision Feed Academy the other time, we said we are actually building a community of tech inclined and digitally savvy farmers and agricultural professionals that will change the future of work, that will change the agricultural status quo. That is our goal, to be able to create that hub of innovators. Not those who will fold their hands and begin to check the trend. Oh, what is the US doing now? Oh, what is America doing now? What is the Europe doing now? ChatGPT is now what is going on. Oh, they just released this app. No, but we want to actually be able to release our own solution locally that can adapt to local context that we can actually use. That is our vision. That is our vision, putting precision agriculture into action. Not overly depending on external technologies, but we can actually be contributors in the fourth agricultural revolution, and this is our goal. Yeah, one step after another, and we believe that with our methodology, our cardinal methodology, which includes education and knowledge sharing, skill development and training, and lastly, mentorship and coaching. We believe that we can be able to prepare youth, for the future of what we envisage. Guys, thank you so much. We want to actually have your questions. I'm looking into the comments now. looking to the comments now. What? Okay, I think I see a comment from Paul James. Sir, with an experience of 5 years owning a farm. Okay, let me just project that. Of owning a farm using more of the native method. I'm open to innovation, but can't finance and afford it. What can be done about it?
Hmm. So, Femi, I guess you want to get three or four questions. I respond, and then we can take
Okay.
more. So, I've noticed
Okay.
this issue of finance and sources.
Okay. 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 I think we only have these questions for now.
Okay,
If
this is a question. Yes,
you
and Paul James. I like the two combination of names. Um, you know, the problem with finance is an age-long problem, and you don't find this problem only in agriculture. Is in the industry. It is just in farm. Now, it is important, and you are using native method. Are you using agroecology defined method, or full intensification, or organic agriculture? Organic agriculture is the extreme, then agroecology is the middle, and intensification is the other technology savvy approach. There are many opportunities that are open for financing. If you are in Nigeria, Nigeria have the central bank approach. They have the agricultural bank, and they have the what's the name, the risk buying incentive. So you need to look at where they are often, but you also, to assess some of these financing mechanism, you need to have very good business case. And the current financing mechanism want to look at the experience. And you have 5 years experience, I think it falls in. But they will also want to see, are you keeping record of your financing? Your business case projection must really be compelling for you to assess this funding. But I also want to encourage you to still please look inward carefully and do very critical analysis of your business case to ensure that when you assess this financing, you'll be able to pay back and become very, very balanced. So I want to say that financial mechanism exists everywhere. Another approach to assessing finance is possibly, if you are producing certain commodities, you may want to align with existing innovation platforms. This is something that Farah had worked on, and it works very well. Innovation platform is a grouping of groups, building groups together of producers, marketer, and all those stuff, to look at the innovation sphere of commodities or system of production. And innovation platform provides group guarantee, okay, to ensure that you produce what is needed, and you don't need to struggle with sale. The what do you call it? The profitability is ensured by the platform business case, and it is leveraged for you. So you can look for an innovation platform around, so that you can secure some of this guarantee. So on finance, let me just stop there. Except there are other follow-up questions.
Yeah, I think this is another question we have is like a follow up on still on finance. Like we can ask by Adekbo Jukola. He asks, navigating precision agriculture through strategic investment. Is there a community of agtech that fund agricultural technology through grants, scholarships, and agtech loans? I think you've actually answered that question, but if you have more comments for Kola, he will be happy to hear.
Yeah, Kola, this is very good. You know, yeah, possibly when we have a standing community of practice, then at a higher level, continent, sub-region, opportunities could be leveraged for them. From your name, I guess you are in Nigeria. the TED Fund have an ongoing program with FARA. It is called HELP, but that is to develop capacities, and it currently facilitates linkage for scholarship, training, and practical hands-on training within the South. So we work closely now with Brazil. But I think that TED Fund only leverage that for people that are already staffs of a tertiary institution in Nigeria. But that is one of the approach. Maybe I should tell you clearly that you need to have proven status for you to be able to access grant, scholarship, and loan. But I know there are a few out there. I mean, what we could do from far within our knowledge management and technology capacity building is to begin to look at developing a program around these that can fact and foster exchange, exchange of knowledge, so that we continue to boost the capacity of Africa. I don't have full data on available things, but one can link up with African Union to find what is already existing that can be. But I think Africa needs to develop a very coherent, well-managed program to develop the capacity of Africa to actually develop machines and then conduct research into precision agriculture.
Thank you so much, sir. As to what you actually mentioned about local capacity and also local technology, I believe Africa needs have what it needs to actually grow. We just have to develop it. For example, us in Nigeria, we already started assembling agricultural drones. That at least reducing the capital cost of acquisition, and we also have quite a number of youth who are actually doing amazing producing agri-tech soil sensors that are actually going to be very useful in the African agriculture industry. Thank you so much, Doctor. I think I would have this question as we close. Uh, Generally speaking, is Africa actually ready? Looking at our farming system, looking at the scope, how do you rate the readiness of Africa to actually embrace this technology? Yeah, I mean, precision agriculture technology. How do you rate the readiness of Africa, and what can we do as youth to actually improve on it?
Yes, thank you, Femi, for raising that question. In fact, it sounds like a CNN question. Very easily crafted, but difficult to give a comprehensive response because it's broad. It's broad in base. You know, there are pressures. There are pressures from everywhere now on Africa to change its farming system.
Mm.
And that is both technically sound and politically savvy,
Mm.
in the light of what is happening all around the globe. There are 17 variants of transformation. And I'm fortunate to be part of the high level panel of experts that wrote the United Nations um, publication on what do you call it, agroecology and other innovations. I'm privileged to be part of that. And we observe that there are 17 variants, and the pressure is very high on Africa to actually go regenerative agriculture or agroecology. That's the transformation. We are currently working on African readiness for this transition. But the big question we keep asking is, if we come up with a scale for agroecology transition, where is Africa? Without putting data into practice, Africa will be on 80% agroecology. On 80% agroecology. Now, I mean, the only part where we fail is our tillage system. Often there is now When other countries are using 400 kilogram per hectare of fertilizer, the average use of fertilizer in Africa is still 17 kilogram per hectare. So I mean, we are not far at all from what do you call it, from organic agriculture. I
Mm.
mean, and this is because of reasons that you know. So when we say we are transitioning, where are we transitioning to? But we also need to understand the carrying capacity of
Mm.
Africa production resources, especially our soil. I wouldn't
Mm.
know, but I don't know how to tell us. Femi, from data and records, African soil is the oldest in the world,
Mm.
and it largely contains low activity clean minerals. The cation exchange capacity is very low. Those that are soil
Mm.
scientists will be shaking their head as I'm mentioning this thing. It's very low. And so our soil is fragile and inherently low in fertility. If we don't give a lot of attention to maintaining it, we will just degrade it. And if you have access to the data on soil degradation in Africa, it's very frightening. And that is where I, as a person, am enthused with agroecology transition or regenerative agriculture. The other 15 variants are also as important, okay, but we can give attention to these two. And the two are the same. Americans are using regenerative agriculture, the Europeans are using agroecology. So it's the same, okay, but Africa must actually go in that direction. And that suggests that we need to get Africans to understand. Now, having understood that part of the divide, how do we manage these resources using precision agriculture? Tell me, I'm going to tell you something you need to know, and our audience also need to know. If the smallholder farmer did not have access to soil fertility or soil data, you will continue to make the wrong decision,
Mm.
even as
Mm.
it relates to fertilizer application, whether
Mm.
organic or mineral. Now, as youths are coming into it, they are more knowledgeable than our fathers. You get it? And so we must find a way to invest into developing soil information system.
Mm.
Fact is working strongly on that. African Union is coming up with what do you call it? Soils for Africa project. The
Yeah.
European Union, they have supported Soil Initiative for Africa. African Union is coming up with that. It's going to be approved by the president in May. European Union Commission, they have supported Soils for Africa that is generating an information system. Okay, soil information system for Africa. And what we are trying to do with support of the development partner is to have a robust continental soil information system. Let me explain. What it does is that when a farmer gets onto his farm, this is still hypothetical, gets into his farm, can he just speak on his smartphone and get the GPS coordinates and plug in into the app and can tell the farmer, this is the current status of your soil. Of course, the app is going to ask a few questions. What did you grow here? What type of weed do you have? Did you have apply fertilizer last year? But based on the use of different algorithms, interoperability of both agronomic and soil data, then the app can tell you this is the current status of your soil, this is the type of crop you can produce, and this is the quantity of fertilizer to be applied. That is where precision begin to have practical implementation. And Femi, I know you will agree with me that this is not rocket science.
Yes.
It is doable. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. All right. Thank you so much, Professor Wale. It's actually been a nice time listening to you, and we actually appreciate your time, guys. We have a lot of comments. We have comments from people, Lawa Ibuke, saying awesome learning process. It's been a very good one, and we have people joining us across the world, listening also to you. Thank you so much once again, sir. We do appreciate, guys. If you want to connect with Doctor and learn, from some of his work, you can connect with him on LinkedIn with Wally Fatunbi at Wally Fatunbi on LinkedIn. You can actually connect with him, and this is actually the purpose of why we're here to actually connect you with leaders, connect you with mentors who have actually gone ahead and are rich in knowledge and experience. Thank you so much again for availing us this opportunity, Doctor. I would say thank you so much for that. Yeah. Yeah. Prof, I want to actually quickly ask if you have the passing word before we move to the next.
Yes, I have a parting word. I mean, for everyone that is listening to us, a number of our seniors are also online watching from YouTube. Possibly you cannot see those category of people. A lot of them are there. Yes, a lot of young enthusiasts, researchers, and scientists are also online listening to us. Now, the development of agriculture or the case of African agriculture is like the sky wants to collapse. It is not the question of one man's family. If it collapses for none of us. And so preventing the cloud from collapsing is everybody's job. And so the policymaker, the practitioner in the field, the consumer, all of us need to tag in into these different efforts and ensure that it delivers. So if I start with the man on the farm, please don't use approaches that will damage the soil. You are only here for 100, 120 years. You are going to hand over the soil to the next generation. Don't destroy it by wrong practices. So don't hit rush and destroy it. So all of us must get into this very mode. For our policymakers, please let's engage in developing supportive policies. And it should start now from ensuring that there is livelihood compliance pricing for commodities that are produced at the smallholder level. As it relates to bringing technologies into practice, all of us have a role to play. And from where I sit in Farah, we already have a unit that works on some of these things, and then we can engage with them. In conclusion, thank you very much for listening to me. I'm always available to respond further to private
Thank you so
questions.
much. Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. It's actually been an amazing time learning from you. Thank you so much. So, guys, let me quickly give you a rundown of the program. We already have some of you have seen this already. Uh, so we have this program schedule for you. The program we're supposed to have tomorrow would not be coming up, and we have actually moved it to March 6th, and that is from Dev Global. Dev Global is actually an international consulting organization. I don't want to actually let the cat out of the box yet, but a brief, so a rundown. We have, like I said, we have various courses on GIS, IoT, and embedded systems. So satellite and remote sensing, all of this will be coming from a practical. It's not going to be a theoretical lecture. It's going to be practical lectures that you can be able to learn, build your capacity, increase your knowledge, and be able to see how to leverage on these technologies to improve agriculture. Okay, so we also going to be having joint training. So if you actually see those blue lines are actually for physical, but you can see that we have more of virtual sections. So that's more than 70% of the engagement that we have for this 2 month long program. And so So those who have actually been selected for the physical will come around for, we have field visit, simulation, and all that. But trust me, everyone who joins the call virtually because of limitation, you are going to actually be getting optimal benefits. You can see the list of speakers that we have. They are actually high-ranking, globally renowned facilitators to train you on various aspects of precision agriculture technologies. So I would also want to say that we anticipate to actually end the program March 28th, while the other weeks would actually be used for wrap up. Now, uh, also do well to note that certificates will be given at the end of this program for those. So, but we're going to be communicating criteria to you to actually earn a certificate or certification. By the way, we have the endorsement of the International Society for Precision Agriculture. So this is not just a certificate of participation, but the validity. So we also have independent learning for you, certificates that you can actually have, or learning process that you can also get certificates at the end on, particularly on drone technology, also, and how to apply on drone technology and application of drone technology in agriculture. So either you're virtual or physical, you have access to all of these resources. So we're going to be taking it one step at a time. So if you have questions for us, please send us an email. Send us an email or on the WhatsApp group. Please engage if you have any ideas that you would like to share with us or bring to our attention. Please do well to share with us. So at this junction, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you joining across the world. And once again, I want to say thank you to our keynote speaker today in the launch event. I I have my notes full already, and I think I have a mind sheet also on this. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining us from LinkedIn, from and also on YouTube channel. Thank you so much. So we'll see you next week. But please do well to check your emails if you've registered. The registration is still on for anybody who wants to join us virtually. So yeah, there's some courses that will not be open as such on our pages or YouTube. It's going to be exclusive to those who have actually registered. So if you have not registered and you're fortunate to join us today, please do well to register. You can find registration information on our LinkedIn page or any of our social media. Trust you would always find information to register. So thank you so much once again, and we appreciate the time. Yes.